and their applications. Introduction. Manure is an excellent fertilizer containing nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium and other nutrients. It also adds organic matter to the soil which may improve soil structure, aeration, soil moisture holding capacity and water infiltration. To determine how much manure is needed for a specific application, the nutrient content and the rate nitrogen becomes available for plant uptake need to be estimated. Organic manures not only supply nutrients to the plants but also helps in aeration of the soil. They help excess water to drain out fast but at the same time help to retain the moisture in the soil. Organic manures are not water soluble. Thus, the plants cannot use these by themselves. Certain bacteria work upon these organic manures and gradually turn them to water soluble minerals. As this conversion process is slow and prolonged, the organic manures, once applied, will continue to provide nutrients to the plants for quite some time. Nutrient content of manures varies depending on source, moisture content, storage and handling methods. Nitrogen content in manures varies with types of animal and feed ration, amount of litter, bedding or soil included, the amount of urine concentrated with the manures. Moisture content is also a major consideration. For example, the moisture content of fresh manure is around 70 to 85%. The moisture content of air dried manures is around 9 to 15%. As manure dries, the nutrients not only concentrated on weight basis but also on volume basis due to structural changes of manures. Volatilization of urine nitrogen can result in considerable loss of nitrogen up to 50% or more of the total nitrogen. Researchers have shown that plants cannot utilize more than 60% of the nitrogen and 20% of the phosphorus applied through fertilizers even though the best management practices are adopted. Under ordinary conditions, plants hardly avail not more than 30% nitrogen and 10% of phosphorus applied through fertilizers. Major part of the nitrogen fertilizers is either lost to the atmosphere in the form of gas or leached down in the soil along with the soil water. Likewise, a large portion of the phosphorus is fixed with the soil particles and plants cannot avail it. Therefore, the following measures should be considered in order to obtain maximum benefit with minimum dose of fertilizers applied. Fertilizer scheduling should be based upon soil test and crop needed. The optimum requirement of fertilizer for maximum production depends upon the requirement of the crop on the one hand and presence of various nutrients in the soil on the other hand. Soil testing gives the idea of whether the soil contains sufficient nutrients to meet the requirement of the particular crop. In case of a nutrient deficiency, it should be added to the soil through fertilizers. Soil testing also gives the information about the soil reaction. The selection of fertilizer should be based on the soil reaction. In acidic soils, only those fertilizers should be used which have alkaline residual effect, that is calcium ammonium nitrate. In alkaline soil, acid forming fertilizers, that is ammonium sulfate and sulfur containing fertilizers should be preferred. Rock phosphate is always preferred for strongly acidic soils because in acidic soils, rock phosphate gets dissolved easily and becomes available to the plants. Secondly, rock phosphate exerts alkaline residual effect which counteracts acidity of the soil. In India, where about 30% of the cultivated land is acidic, use of rock phosphate is to be encouraged. Classification of manures and fertilizers. Manures. Natural manures are those which are bulky in nature and supply nutrients in small quantities and organic matter in large quantities. The chemical manure is water soluble minerals. These manures can broadly divided into 4 groups. Number 1, bulky organic manures. Number 2, concentrated organic manures. Number 3, chemical manures. Number 4 is biofertilizers. Bulky organic manures. Bulky organic manures contain small percentage of nutrients and is supplied in large quantities. For example, farmyard manure, compost, night soil, sludge, sewage, sheep and goat manures, poultry dropping, green manure, etc. Farmyard manure is a mixture of cattle dung, urine, litter, bedding material, portion of fodder not consumed by the cattle and other domestic waste like ashes, etc. collected and dumped into a pit or a heap in the corner of the backyard. Because of the varied nature of the materials, the composition of the manure itself varies widely, but on an average, well-rotted farmyard manure contains 0.5% of nitrogen, 0.2% of phosphorus and 0.5% of potash. It also influences by various other factors. Concentrated organic manures. The concentrated organic manures contain higher percentage of major plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium as compared to a bulky organic manures. These are made from materials of animal and plant origin. The examples of manures of plant origin are oil seed cake, which may be edible or non-edible. Edible oil seed cakes are groundnut cakes, linseed cake, sesame cakes, safflower cakes. Non-edible soil seed cakes are castor cake, neem cake, safflower cake. The examples of manures of animal origin are bone meal, fish meal, meat meal and blood meal. Biofertilizers. Biological nitrogen fixation has a tremendous potential to meet the nutritional needs. Although biofertilizers are becoming popular among the poor and marginal farmers, but still there are miles to go in that direction. Azolla, Azotobacter, Azoxyspirillum and blue-green algae have been found to replace nitrogen fertilizers as much as 30 to 35%. Chemical fertilizers. Chemical fertilizers are water-soluble minerals. So, as soon as they are applied to the plants and water given, they dissolve in water and are absorbed by the plants. Thus, a slight overdose of a chemical fertilizer could be damage the plant or may even kill it. Due to their water solubility, the chemical fertilizers are easily washed out of the soil and make them unavailable to the plants. When used with caution and along with organic manures, chemical fertilizers can give good results. Time of fertilizers application. Most of the crop plants generally require nitrogen throughout their growth period. Irrespective of the crop, all plants tend to grow at slow pace in beginning, rapidly in the grand growth period. The period at which elongation of the cells, tissues and formation of the organs take place, and again slow during maturity. Accordingly, nitrogen is also taken up by the plants in keeping with the pace of plant growth. Hence, use of nitrogenous fertilizer should be so timed as to ensure its supply to the plant throughout the growth period, especially during the grand growth period. Nitrogenous fertilizers are very soluble in water, hence liable to leached. As such, it is necessary to apply nitrogen fertilizers in split doses of 2 to 4 depending on the types of soil and the duration of the crop. When the fertilizer is applied at sowing time, it is called basal dressing, and the dose applied in standing crops is called top dressing. Plant required phosphorus mainly during the early root development and the early growth period. Besides, almost all phosphatic fertilizer release phosphorus very slowly to the plant growth, unlike nitrogenous fertilizers. They are therefore applied only at the time of sowing, that is basal dressing. intake of potash by the plant is similar to nitrogen, whereas time its availability is like that of phosphorus. Soils rich in soak clay fix the applied potassium and release it very slowly. As such, it is advisable to apply the entire quantity of potassium fertilizers at sowing time. However, mixture of nitrogen and potassium can be applied in standing crops as well. Methods of fertilizer application. As per crop requirement and growth pattern, plant nutrients are applied in different methods. The following are the important methods of fertilizers application for different crops. Broadcasting. The fertilizers is spread all over the field with a view to distributing the whole quantity of fertilizers uniformly. This method of fertilizer application should not be practiced where placement of fertilizers in the root zone is feasible, because in this practice more amount of fertilizer is required to produce the same yield. Broadcasting of fertilizers is carried out at two stages. Broadcasting of fertilizer at the time of planting is generally done when the soils are highly deficient in nitrogen or the previous crop has been nutrient exhaustive, such as sugarcane, jawar, maize, etc. Broadcasting in standing crop is done mainly for nitrogenous fertilizers and mostly for close spaced crop like paddy and wheat. It is also called top dressing. Placement. Fertilizers are placed in the soil before sowing irrespective of the position of the seed. Placement is standing crop can also be done in widely spaced crop growing in a limited area. For example, in young maize crop, fertilizers can be mainly placed 3 to 4 cm away from the stem. Placement of fertilizer restricts the surface area of the fertilizers coming in contact with the soil particles and thus decrease the fixation of the phosphorus and potassium. Generally, two types of placement of fertilizers are practiced: plough furrow or single band or double band placement. Fertilizers are placed in a continuous band at the bottom of the furrow opened with ploughing. Each band is covered with soil after the fertilizer application. In single band placement, fertilizer is applied on one side of the plant row. In double band placement, fertilizer is placed on both the sides of the row. Ring placement. Ring placement method is mostly practiced for the fruit trees in orchards or for individually grown trees. Open a ring-like trench of 1 foot wide and 4 to 6 inches deep around the fruit tree with the help of spade, corresponding to the circumstances of the shoot system of the tree. Calculate the weight of the amount of the fertilizer for each plant separately and apply fertilizers uniformly in the trench and cover the ring with soil and irrigate immediately. In situ application. When the fertilizers are applied on a specific spot, it is called in situ application or localized application of the fertilizers in wide fertilizers. The following are the kinds of in situ application of fertilizers. Drill application. Drill application refers to the drilling of fertilizers at sowing time. Drilling the fertilizers together with the seed should be avoided, as it may be adversely affect the germination or the young plants may get damaged due to high or concentration of the chemicals in the root zone. It is advisable to use a separate attachment for seed and fertilizer drilling. This is one of the best method for applying phosphate and potash fertilizer to closely spaced row planted crops like wheat, maize, jawar, bajra, etc. Dole-up method. The entire quantity of fertilizers is calculated per plant and is applied on both the sides of the plant with the help of cup by dividing into two parts. This is considered to be a very efficient method of applying nitrogenous fertilizers in widely spaced crops like cotton and fruit trees. Pellet application. In pellet method, the fertilizers are mixed with the soil in the ratio of 1:10, 1 part of the fertilizer and 10 part of soil. and made into a paste. Then small pellet of the convenient size are prepared. These pellets are then applied cast to the field day, depositing them in soft mud. This method is especially useful for the application of nitrogenous fertilizers in paddy field. This practice greatly increases the nitrogen use efficiency of paddy plant. Foliar application. Foliar application refers to the spraying of fertilizer solution on foliage or leaves of the growing plants. Normally, these solutions are prepared in low concentration 0.2 to 0.5% either to supply any one plant nutrient or combination of the nutrients. Precautions taken while applying the fertilizers. Note that there is a sufficient moisture in the field before applying fertilizers. Ensure uniform distribution of fertilizers on the entire area of the operation. Avoid hot hours or the day while applying of a fertilizer. Choose a fair weather day, preferably for broadcasting. Do not top dress the fertilizers when the crop leaves are wet, otherwise burning and scorching of the leaves may occur. Confirm the compatibility of fertilizer before mixing. Place the fertilizers at least 5 to 8 cm below the soil surface. Application of manures and fertilizers with special reference to mulberry. To maintain fertility and productivity of the soil for sustained productivity, integrated nutrient management has become inevitable for mulberry cultivation. Also, where large quantity of biomass is removed in the form of foliage and shoots, soil fertility is eroded very fast. Besides, continuous application of only chemical fertilizers due to non-availability of the organic manures, the soil pH and microbial populations, both fauna and flora, are very much affected, beside affecting and chemical properties of the soil. As a long-term and sustainable approach, integration or blend of organic and inorganic could be the only way out to mitigate the problems. The important source of organic nutrients are compost, vermicompost, biofertilizers, green manure crops, green leaf manures, tank burnt soil, press mud, plant and animal origin oil cakes, etc. And at least 40% of the nutrient required of the mulberry crop should be met in the form of organic manures. The common organic manures used for mulberry is farmyard manure. Through use of compost or vermicompost are useful in enhancing the nutrient availability to the plants. Normally, 1/3 of the requirement of the nutrient is provided in the form of organic sources and is called as bulky fertilizers. Mulberry garden maintained under irrigated condition is provided with 20 metric ton of farmyard manures per hectare annually in 2 to 3 split doses, or 5 to 6 metric ton of vermicompost per hectare per year in 2 split doses, and it is highly beneficial to use compost or vermicompost prepared out of sericulture farm residues. Green manuring. Green manuring is the effective method of improving soil health and fertility for sustainable mulberry crop production. In mulberry cultivation, significant improvement in soil health and leaf yield and quality are recorded. Leguminous crops of short duration with high biomass production capacity are more desirable as intercrop for green manuring, and sowing is done soon after the onset of the monsoon when the annual cultural practice are completed. Sun hemp, diancha, horse gram are popular in southern states. The green manure crops should be incorporated into the soil before flowering for effective utilization of the biomass. Plowing can be done for mulching the plants in the trenches in between the rows for effective incorporation. Apart from growing of green manuring crops, green leaf manuring is quite popular. Green biomass of Pongamia, Gliricidia, neem, Calotropis, Sesamum, etc. are harvested periodically and mulched into the soil, enriching the fertility status of the soil. Chemical fertilizers and applications. Mulberry garden is maintained over a period of 15 to 20 years to utilize the biomass for silkworm for rearing by repeated pruning and leaf harvest, thereby reducing the huge quantities of nutrient from the soil. This needs to be replenished from time by the application of chemical fertilizers beside farmyard manure or compost application. Depending upon the soil test results, appropriate chemical fertilizers should be applied in furrows at the depth of 5 to 8 centimeter and should be covered by soil to avoid loss due to volatilization or withering. Irrigation should be immediately after fertilizer application. Recommended dose of fertilizer for local Convert2 S36 varieties is 300, 120, 120 kg nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium per hectare per year in shoot harvest system, that is 5 harvest, and 280, 120, 120 kg NPK per hectare per year in leaf harvest system, that is 6 harvest per year. However, for high yielding mulberry varieties like Victory 1, Vishala, Suvarna under irrigated condition, the requirement of chemical fertilizers has been enhanced for optimum leaf yield and quality. Recommended dose of chemical fertilizers for these varieties is 350, 140, 140 kg of NPK per hectare per year and applied in 5 split doses. All the 3 fertilizers are mixing thoroughly should be applied in between the rows of mulberry by deep placement and covered by the soil immediately. Biofertilizers. The high fertilizer requirement in mulberry cultivation, especially nitrogen, phosphorus and potash, not only increases the cost of cultivation but also their irrational use hamper the soil health and fertility. Use of cost-effective biofertilizers in mulberry reduce the nitrogenous fertilizers as much as 30 to 35%. Nitrogen biofertilizer Siri Prakriti. Apply 8 kg of azotobacter biofertilizers per acre per year in 5 split doses at 1.6 kg for every crop per acre. That is 1.6 kg of azotobacter thoroughly mixed with 80 kg of fine powder FOM and sprinkle water on the mixture and cover with wet gunny cloth overnight. Next day, the mixture can be applied to the mulberry garden. Phosphate solubilizing biofertilizer, that is Siri Multiphos. Phosphate is the second most important plant nutrient element next only to the nitrogen. However, the availability of the applied phosphorus is only 50 to 20% due to its fixation in the soil into non-availability forms. Its availability can be increased by using phosphate solubilizing microorganism as biofertilizers. Apply 10 kg of Siri Multiphos in 200 kg of farmyard manure and sprinkle water on the mixture and cover with wet gunny cloth overnight. The next day, the mixture can be applied near root zone of the mulberry plants following the single band or double band placement method. Integrated nutrition management for mulberry. Nutrition management in the mulberry cultivation play a major role in sustainability of biovert and silkworm crop. Fertilizers alone cannot meet the vast requirement of plant nutrients. This is largely because of the rising cost of the fertilizers and partly because of inherent drawbacks with the fertilizer themselves. It calls our attention towards the concept of integrated nutrient management in mulberry cultivation practices. Integrated nutrition management in mulberry cultivation can be successfully adopted by adding FOM or compost, vermicompost, green manures and biofertilizers along with chemical fertilizers in balanced proportion for optimum production of mulberry leaves with good quality. Thank you.